For today's home mobility series, we're going to be going over some stretches for the hip area. I have a yoga block with me, but you could also use a folded up towel or a small pillow or any prop you have at home of a similar shape and size. I'm going to begin in my hip 90-90 position. For our hip 90-90, we're going to bring one leg out in front of us at about 90 degrees and the other leg behind us at about 90 degrees. We're going to begin with some external rotation on our front leg. Here, I'm going to line my sternum up the front of my knee and hinge forward. And I'm going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Noticing where I can breathe into and listening to areas where I feel expansion. From here, I'm going to imagine that I'm pressing the side of my knee through the earth. You can use hand support here, or you may choose to bring your hands up and clasp them in front of you. From here, I'm going to squeeze this glute and drive the side of my knee through the earth as hard as I can for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Now that we've addressed our front hip, we'll address our back hip, which is now an internal rotation, meaning it's rotated towards our midline. From here, just like the front leg, I'm going to line my sternum up with my back knee. I'm going to squeeze this hip and extend it forward until I feel a gentle stretch around the top of this hip, maybe in the glute or some even in the medial hamstring and adductor area. If this feels uncomfortable on your knee, you can bring your knee up forward, or you can prop yourself to your side on your elbow or lay down on the floor, and both of those should reduce knee discomfort. From here, I'm going to hold this extended position, rotating back and taking 3 deep breaths. In order to contract into internal rotation, I'm going to come into a more upright position. If this feels too snug for you or feels restricted, again, you can come over on your elbow. In either case, I'm going to turn to face you more. I'm going to bring this ankle up and drive as if I had a protractor here. I'm going to trace a rainbow with the side of my foot. So I'm going to lift up and hold, and I'm not doing this by twisting kind of at my spine, trying to get all of this from this hip joint right here. If that means that your foot's a little lower rather than trying to force it this way, that's just fine. We're really looking for a hard contraction purely into hip internal rotation here. So I'm going to lift and hold and drive that inside of my knee through the floor for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you can relax. And we'll re-stretch, and you should notice that you have more range of motion. Now I would encourage you to pause the video and repeat these steps on the other side. But for the sake of time, I'll only demo things on one side of the body today. For our next stretch, we're going to do a pigeon pose or a modified pigeon pose, depending on how flexible you are. So to begin our pigeon pose, I'm going to start in that hip 90-90 from before. I'm going to place myself up on my hands. I'm going to drive my toe on the back leg through the earth so that I'm getting a bit of a front line stretch on this leg and a bit of a lateral hip and inner thigh stretch on this one. You don't have to force anything painful or uncomfortable. If this doesn't feel good on your knee, you can skip it, or you can relieve the pressure by coming back and opening your body more to the side. From this position, we'll take 3 deep breaths, again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Relaxing deeper into the stretch. And one more. After repeating that stretch on the other side, we're going to come into a half-seated straddle position. I'm going to leave one leg out to the side. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you can always support that leg some with your block or with your towel. From here, I'm going to sit nice and tall. I'm going to hinge forward in towards my midline on this leg. If you are really flexible and you want to reach around to the inside of that foot and rotate open, you are welcome to here, getting a little bit of a QL stretch in our low back on the opposite side. We're going to take 3 deep breaths into this stretch. From here, I'm going to take my blocker towel and place it under my heel in front of me. Elevate that heel, my hand support and sit nice and tall. Now, this is going to be difficult and maybe feel kind of funny, but I want you to try to drive your heel down through that block, squeezing your hamstring as if you were doing kind of a donkey kick with a straight leg back, squeezing that glute and that hamstring. So I'm going to try to chop my heel through this block as hard as I can for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and time, and we'll relax. Now we'll re-stretch into the block with that foot elevated. Again, levering ourselves into this position, relaxing as much as feels comfortable for you. And we'll take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. The last hip stretch in our series is a scorpion. For this move, I'm going to lay down on my stomach, my arms out to the side. I'm going to take the leg that I'll be stretching, and I'm going to sting towards my hand on the far side. So here, I'm going to roll open and drive my toes towards that hand. If you're quite flexible, you may be able to grab this foot and get a bit of a front body stretch. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can bring your foot a little bit lower. Just focus on lifting this knee and opening that hip towards the sky. Feeling a stretch in our psoas, in our lower abs, and in our hip flexors. I'm going to hold this for a moment, and then we'll gently return to center and repeat on the other side. Again, you can grab your foot if that feels comfortable. You could also use a strap, or you can just let that foot camp out where it feels good. Again, opening that hip towards the sky and feeling a front body stretch, and then coming back to center. We'll press up into our baby cobra pose. If you're quite flexible, you may want to press up into your full cobra pose. Sinking back into a frog stretch and feeling our adductors. If you're quite flexible here, you may open those knees wider than your mat or turn sideways. Take a few deep breaths here.